Go back out to St. John Parish at this hour as we go in depth into today's fire. Sharice Gibson is live tonight in Garyville with the latest there. Sharice.
All right, good evening to you, Katie. Yes, we are just a few miles down from where that fire happened at the Marathon facility. We have more details and team coverage, as you mentioned at the top of the show, as we break down exactly what happened here. We begin this evening with what officials are saying with Paul Murphy. Paul Murphy also joining me live in Garyville.
Sharice, I was standing at this same spot at noon, and back then you could see a large column of thick black smoke and flames leaping into the sky. You can see right now as we push in, things have changed a lot since then. Just getting this update from St. John Parish. While much of the fire has been extinguished, firefighters continue fire suppression activities at the plant to address flare-ups. Intermittent smoke may be seen from the facility. Fire suppression will continue until firefighting professionals are confident there is no risk of additional fire. And right now, air monitoring continues in the community as a precaution, and as indicated so far, no air quality impacts. Thick black smoke and flames shot high in the air as part of the sprawling Marathon Refinery in Garyville caught fire about 40 miles upriver from New Orleans.
At 6:53 a.m., St. John the Baptist Parish officials were notified of an incident at Marathon Petroleum and quickly responded.
The fire started near tanks that store naphtha, which is a component in the production of gasoline. Marathon spokesman Justin Lawrence said one of the storage tanks was leaking into a perimeter containment area and the chemical somehow ignited.
The fire is not in the tank, it is around the perimeter where that naphtha is pooling.
But from this aerial view, you can clearly see flames leaping in the air high above two storage tanks. It's unclear whether the product inside also caught fire. Mike King lives a block from the plant.
Walked out the front door, huge plume of smoke over Marathon, so I drove past it before they had the river road blocked to see the flames and whatnot.
St. John President Jacqueline Hotard called for a mandatory evacuation within a 2-mile radius of the Marathon facility as a precaution. She lifted the order by mid-afternoon after firefighters finally got the blaze under control.
It's alarming, to see what's going on, so I understand the residents' concerns, especially for residents who have, been here for a long time and seen, different incidents that can happen. So it is a little scary.
And again, just hearing from parish officials in the latest update that fire suppression personnel will be staying here at the plant, putting down some hot spots, addressing any type of flare-ups that may come up. And they stress to neighbors not to be concerned if from time to time they see some smoke coming from the plant. The cause of this fire is under investigation. Now, with the safety measures taken by our parish officials here in St. John, we have our Alyssa Curtis with that part of the story. Alyssa?
Paul, like we mentioned, that mandatory evacuation order for those who live in that 2-mile radius within the refinery, that has since been lifted. Parish officials said when they were putting it in place, they wanted to put all these declarations in place because they wanted to keep residents safe. That's the most important part about this. And residents were taking these orders seriously. They were abiding by them because they were just worried about that smoke and that fire.
That was my concern, to come get him so he wasn't stuck. And if we needed to leave town, we could, and I would have my child.
Parents rushed to pick up their kids from school as part of the Marathon Refinery went up in flames.
I've been here for 45 minutes, and I just got him. I've been signed him out around about 10:40, so I've been here to sign him out. There's chaos over there.
St. John the Baptist Parish officials evacuated some schools. Others sheltered in place. Officials also ordered an evacuation around the refinery. Arthur Chabot made sure he and his family got to the East St. John Preparatory Academy safely, where parish officials set up a shelter, along with West St. John High School.
I don't want to see anybody having to be near that or having to breathe it in.
Chabot lives right across from the refinery. While officials got the fire under control Friday afternoon, Chabot is still worried about the long-term effects.
Absolutely, yeah. It's dangerous, but living down Airline Highway, people call this cancer lane because of all the chemicals and stuff the chemical plants they have. Yeah, it's hurting us.
While we only saw a few cars outside the East St. John Preparatory Academy shelter, we spoke with some who went to their families' homes, whether just a few blocks down or in a different state.
I'm gonna probably go to my oldest son's house in Jackson, Mississippi.
Others who live outside the 2-mile evacuation radius, we're going to keep an eye on it.
I'm gonna watch the news and see how far this thing goes.
Again, that fire is now under control and that evacuation order has been lifted. We did learn about an hour or so ago that all roads are open, so if you need to take Highway 44 to get to your home, you can now take that and get back to your home safely. Starting tonight at 7 p.m., there will be a toll-free number available for any of you who might have been impacted and have a claim. So we'll have that number up on our website in case you need to call and get a hold of the parish. Reporting in LaPlace, Alyssa Curtis, Eyewitness News.
All right, Alyssa, thank you so much for that update. Now, the chemical that was burned in this fire is obviously highly flammable. Joining us with more on what that chemical is and if there are any air quality issues and how it's impacting the surrounding community, Eleanor Tabone continues our team coverage. Eleanor, a lot of questions and concerns about this chemical.
That's right, Charisse. Now, that chemical, according to experts, is called naphtha. Now, it's similar to gasoline or diesel fuel. Now, I spoke to a health expert from Tulane University, and he said, whilst the videos that we saw earlier of those plumes of smoke is a concern, he said the biggest concern is the chemicals and the particles in the air that we can't see. Now, while that big plume of smoke, we can't no longer see that, it's what's left lingering in the air. Now, he said those with respiratory issues, especially asthma, that chemical that was in the air and that smoke can exacerbate that. Now, here's what he had to say. Take a listen.
If I had a respiratory condition like asthma or COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, then I would avoid going outdoors. I try to not spend very much time outdoors. That smoke is going to exacerbate any condition.
Katie, the advice from Dr. Reed for those that are returning home who evacuated is to check your HVAC filters. Reporting live, Eleanor Tabone, Eyewitness News.
Thank you. Over the past few years, state and federal records reveal Marathon Petroleum has had some serious problems with chemical releases, fires, and a workplace accident that left a man dead. The column of thick black smoke over the Marathon oil refinery Friday wasn't the only cloud the facility has been under in recent years. We combed through state and federal inspection records and discovered last year alone, the refinery was fined by federal regulators twice for fires that left 6 workers hurt. One was hospitalized for burns.
And I just heard the explosion, and then I heard the gas escaping. My wife and family were still in the house. It shook the house.
In February 2022, an explosion rocked the surrounding community. 4 workers were hurt. An investigation into the incident resulted in a $14,502 federal fine for a serious violation of workplace safety standards. Then in October of last year, another fire ignited at the refinery, burning 2 workers. One had to be airlifted to a New Orleans hospital. State records say that fire burned for 10 hours. Federal regulators fined Marathon Refinery $15,625 this time for another serious violation. Records show Marathon also reported a small fire on a line in 2020 that was quickly extinguished by the company's in-house firefighters.
I sadly was not surprised.
Ann Rolfes is executive director of the Louisiana Bucket Brigade, an environmental activist group.
We spent a period of time researching refinery accidents in this state, and for a 10-year period, Marathon was one of the leaders in the state as far as accidents are concerned. So, you know, the facility has been a problem for a long time.
Their research from 2005 to 2015 ranked Marathon Refinery 6th for the most accidents out of the 17 refineries studied.
You know, we have a systemic problem here in Louisiana. Last month there was a mushroom cloud from Dow in Baton Rouge. This month there's a horrible black plume of smoke from Marathon Refinery. Until we get serious about electing people who will make the oil industry accountable, this will go on and on and on.
The company also reported a smaller leak of the same chemical last year. OSHA also investigated after a worker was crushed to death when he was pinned between two trucks at the site in November of last year, but they found that was an accident.